Hey girlfriends, welcome back to another episode of the Go Your Magic podcast. This is the very first official video and I can't wait to share you my tips on how to escape your toxic narcissistic family dynamic and finally gain freedom. This is going to be a really good one, so sit back, relax, have your notepad, have some tea, and then let's get into it. Living with narcissistic parents, narcissistic family can be one of the worst things ever. Like, they take away so much of your freedom. They take away so much of your self-expression, your soul. Staying in that type of environment eventually will kill your soul and you become a shadow of yourself. The way it is they program you to live in fear. They program you to see the world as a dark place, and they are the only ones that you can trust. And the thing with that is, it's the complete opposite. And I've had to learn this the hard way. I can finally say that I have gained my freedom, and it is one of the best feelings in the world. To wake up in the morning and to not have anyone telling you what to do, to not have anyone yelling at you, to not have anybody controlling your movements, anybody like controlling your finances, asking you how much you spend on this, how much you spend on that, controlling the way that you dress. Like, I finally feel free to express myself, and I know that that's what you want as well. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to escape your toxic narcissistic family. For you to escape, you have to come to terms with the fact that there will be a lot of pushback. It's not going to be easy, right? And in my case, I did not have a plan. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, I need to leave, so I need to save money. But when it finally happened, it wasn't planned. And I want you to go into this having a plan. And I want you to know that your narcissistic family is never going to change. They are the way they are because of certain trauma, certain harsh realities from their side, and it has nothing to do with you. But the first thing is, you need to stop telling them your dreams. Stop telling them anything. Don't share too much. If you get a new job, you have to keep it a secret, okay? If you have a new business, don't tell them your business. Don't tell them if you have like an online business, do not tell them the details of your business, because they will monitor you and keep an eye on like how much you're spending, how much you're making. You want to keep things under wraps. You want to, when it gets to the point where you saved a lot of money to move out, you want to start taking your belongings slowly out of the house, because narcissistic parents are very controlling. So even if you're 25, 27, like in my case, I was 28 and I still am 28, but I was 28 when I realized that they were never going to stop controlling me. They take pleasure in infantilizing you. So they cripple you so much financially that even at the age of 21, 22, 23, 30, 40, 50, I'm talking like there are people in their 60s who are being controlled by their narcissistic parents. It never ends. And at 28, I realized that this was going to be my life, and I didn't want that to be my life. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just ended up cutting the cord completely, right? So the first thing is to make sure that you do not overshare your business with them. Second thing is to stack your money in secret. Stack your money in secret. Get a job. You can get 2 jobs if you have to. Save your money spend very little and start being financially smart with your money. Like, narcissistic parents do not teach you anything about the world, except for the world is a dangerous place and there are people who are out there to get you. And of course, if you grew up thinking that way, it can be very hard to trust other people. And the whole point of them doing that is for them to gain your trust so that you can fully trust them. If you think about the movie Tangled, Mother Gothel, I think that's her name, she lied so much about what was out there that Rapunzel was so scared to go out there. But she really desperately wanted to see the world. And I actually think, like, that's how my life has been. Like, my whole life has been like a lockdown. That is what it feels like to be living with a toxic, narcissistic parent. You feel you can't make friends. They don't support your dreams. They don't support your friendships, and they don't support anything that represents your independence. So stack your money in secret and learn to manage your money. Like, I recently bought this financial planner budget thingy on Etsy, and I started to manage my finances a lot better, and like to see where my money is going and to see how I can at least have some savings every month. Make sure you're saving up every month, because this is your life. If you do not save, there is no way of actually getting out. I always dreamt of escaping my toxic family. And let me be more specific. I always fantasize about escaping my toxic dad. And the only thing that held me back was the financial aspect. And I think that's what holds a lot of people back from leaving. So I would say just save your money, okay? Save your money. Get a place in secret. Do not tell them your plans of getting a place, because if you do, they most likely will not support you, and they will also try to sabotage you. I've made a lot of points, but the next thing I would say is to start making friends outside of your family. They don't want you to have friends because they want you to be solely reliant on them so that they can manipulate you further. So start learning to trust people. And I know, like, not everybody is perfect, but there are people out there who are willing to help you, but you have to be very careful not to trust the wrong people. You have to learn how to trust yourself first, because that's something that I noticed as well. Growing up in a narcissistic family can make you doubt yourself so much that you don't even trust yourself. And you have to learn how to trust yourself first before you can trust other people. So start making friends. Try to write down the things that you want in a friend. Try to look for those behaviors in other people. Make sure that the friends that you make do not remind you of your narcissistic family dynamic. Otherwise, you will just keep replaying that cycle, because you're so familiar with it that when you see it, you might not even recognize it. This is why I recommend therapy as well. But start learning how to trust other people, because those people can help you in times of need. Like, I never actually thought that people could help and people could be so nice. And of course, there are people who would try to take advantage of your situation, but you have to learn to trust your instincts when that happens and just like move accordingly. But you really need to learn to start asking for help, to learn who to trust, because you're going to need it. Like, if you don't have your family, you need to figure out who you can actually trust, right? So yeah, start figuring out who you can trust. Start making more friends so that they can be your family, because unfortunately you don't have that right now. And yeah, like, make sure you trust the right people. make sure you save up your money. Make sure you don't overshare. You don't tell them your dreams. You don't tell them your business. You don't tell them your plans. Oh yeah, another thing is like you have to also be okay with cutting everybody off. I'm so sorry. You might not agree with me, but this is the reality of a narcissistic family dynamic, because it's something called flying monkeys. When you cut off your narcissistic parents, they are going to use other people within their circle to come at you. They're going to use other people to manipulate you. They're going to use other people to gaslight you on the situation. And then you'd even start gaslighting yourself, because you're asking yourself, wait, maybe this thing isn't as bad as it seems. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe I shouldn't have left. And then before you know it, you're back into that cycle again. And so the best thing for you to do is to cut everybody off. Like, it's a slippery slope keeping some people. I mean, yeah, if you have siblings, like, it depends, because some siblings could be narcissistic as well. And, you know, some siblings could be enablers. There are a lot of enablers in the narcissistic family dynamic. So you just have to be cautious. Do not tell, like, when you finally move away from your narcissistic family dynamic, do not tell them of your whereabouts. Be very careful. It's probably best to meet out in public, because these flying monkeys, or if you choose to keep in contact with any of them, like could be your siblings, these flying monkeys could have contacts, and they probably have contact with your parents. So like if they find out where you are, they will definitely tell your parents where you are, and they could show up, and that could be very dangerous. And you know, you do not want that. Like, regardless of the situation, it could be your parent or your spouse, you know, your ex-spouse, you know. So once you find a place to move into, do not share your whereabouts. I think that, and that's why it's so important to make friends, because if you do not make friends, you can find yourself being really isolated. And I have found that as addicting as isolation can be, isolation is very, very dangerous, especially if you're walking away from narcissistic family. Yeah. One more thing to note is that it doesn't matter how far away you move. You also need to get rid of their voices in your head, because narcissistic family, narcissistic parents, they have almost like a hold on you if you do not cut the cord. So it doesn't matter how far away you are. You could be in a different country, but their manipulation continues, right? And you don't even have to be in contact with them, because they spent years programming you with fear and shame and guilt. Those things continue to program and control your whole behavior. You know, you find that maybe you don't trust people that much, or you find that you're afraid of everything and everybody, and you have maybe social anxiety, or you, I don't know, you have a hard time putting yourself out there, you know, for things, for a new job, or for like a better opportunity. You know, they can make you feel like the world is a scary, dark place. And so you have to also reprogram your mindset to ensure that they don't control you, because a lot of the voices that you hear that are negative, it's not even yours, it's theirs. So, you know, that's something that you have to work on. But if you are in a place where maybe you can't get a job, I would look for something to do. You know, you have to basically turn against them, in the sense that you have to use their narcissism against them. You know, like maybe your excuse to leave the house, because you always have to leave the house. Your excuse to leave the house is, I need to practice piano lessons so that I can be a better, I don't know, like a better pianist, and I can impress you. You know, you could just like butter them up a little so that they will allow you to leave the house. Or like you want to take extra lessons so that you can do better at school. You want to do extracurricular so that you can be a better performer, because narcissists love that. You know, they love to be the best. They love to be seen as the best. They love the spotlight, especially the, what do you call this? The overt ones, right? The overt ones. But in my case, mine was very covert. So, and I'm not a psychologist. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just somebody who has studied this so much, and I've tried for so long to understand my parent. Like initially, I felt as though they were just difficult. So if you're in this type of situation, you might feel like your parent is difficult. You might feel like your parent is overbearing. You might feel like your parent is controlling. You might have strong hatred towards your parent, but you don't understand it. You might feel sad or depressed all the time, or drained, you know, and you may notice that your parent can't really empathize with you. Like they can't have conversations around topics that is about you. So it's never about you, it's always about them. And this has taken me, like I said, it's taken me 24 years to realize that my parent is narcissistic and will probably never change. After so many years of hope and so many years of back and forth and so many years of the push and pull, the inconsistencies, I have come to realize and accept that they are never going to change. One thing you have to be careful of is when you escape your narcissistic family, do not go into another relationship with somebody who is narcissistic, because that's something that could tend to happen. What you need is, and I know I said isolation is not great, but sometimes you need to be alone for a while. But everyone is different, right? So get a support system if you can. But if you can't really find anyone positive, it's better to be alone. So you do not want to get into a toxic relationship, because you are just replaying the cycle, furthering the damage, and then that could end up in more damage, so that you have to go all the way back to where you came from. And like just choose wisely, because we have blind spots because we grew up in that environment. But now, like, thankfully, because of therapy, I would say I've gotten to the point where I understand certain red flags, and when I see that, I am like, I'm not gonna lie, I still give benefit of the doubt, but I don't do that as much. But yeah, just trust your instincts, save your money, and move in silence, because your freedom depends on it. And that's everything I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my first official video of the Girl Your Magic podcast. I am so happy that I was able to share this with you. I just wanted to come on here to just give you this information before I get about my day. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I love you so much. Bye. Mwah.